to just take it down to a little bit more of a digestible level, let's talk about personal branding when you're looking for a job. When somebody asks you during a job interview, tell me about yourself. A lot of times, because of the culture that we come from, the fact that we are raised to be very timid and so essentially, if you cannot in 30 seconds give me a synopsis of who you are and what you stand for, then you're really missing an opportunity to let people see you for your strengths. And one of the things that I usually tell people that I'm coaching is that personal branding, there are different ways to view it. There's the individual personal branding, which is based on you and how you present yourself, especially if you're interviewing for a position, or you are, an MC, or you are, trying to influence. But there's also personal branding for somebody, who runs a business. So there's a different way that person would need to brand themselves. But from an individual perspective, I would say there are 5 things that you need to think about when you're personal branding. What is your power? What is the thing about you that makes you powerful? What's your passion? What do you love? What do you stand for? What drives you? What makes you wake up in the morning? What is your purpose? What are you doing what you're doing for? Are you doing it because it makes you feel good? Are you doing it because you want some type of a return? And then the people. Who are the people you're trying to influence? Who's the audience? Is there an unmet need that you're trying to solve for these individuals? And then your platform. How are you going to reach these individuals? Are you going to reach them through social media? Are you standing in front of a podium speaking to them? Those are the things you need to think about when you're thinking about branding yourself personally. But to just take it down to a little bit more of a digestible level, let's talk about personal branding when you're looking for a job. When somebody asks you during a job interview, tell me about yourself. A lot of times, because of the culture that we come from, the fact that we are raised to be very timid and complacent, many of us don't know how to position ourselves. Many of us have a problem touting our accomplishments. So when people ask you, who are you? You find a lot of people are like, I don't know. And then given the differences in how people interview back home versus how we interview here, you find a lot of people answering questions like, oh, I'm a mother or I'm a father. I have 3 children. And your employer doesn't care about that. They want to know, how are you going to come in here and impact change in my organization? Are you agile enough? Can you help me save money?
Who is agile?
You, the individual.
But then Laverah, you talked about, and I know Mosh has something real quick he wants to say, but you talked about the timid culture, and I don't want us to lose that point, because I think this is a conversation that's centered around, immigrants, like Africans, Kenyans, people who came here in their adult life. What is it, like when you talk about, like a timid culture? What are these aspects specifically that sometimes work against us when we go into the corporate world here in the US?
So I'll give you an example, and this is probably going to help drive the point home really easily. I'm working currently with a lady who's looking for opportunities for an accounting position. She's very qualified. She has all the skill sets. She has the education. Unfortunately, when I talk to her on the phone and I ask her, what are you looking for? She's not coming across as that bubbly, enthusiastic, motivated individual. And we know Americans are looking for personality. A lot of times people hire who they like. So if I can't envision myself working with you, and you're not coming across as that person who I can see myself talking to in the hallway or having a water cooler conversation with, chances are I'm going to be like, she's kind of boring. So when we talk about our timid culture, one of the things that she said to me is like, in Kenya, we're not used to saying that. If you show up in an interview and you're all overly excited and happy, people are like, what is wrong with her?
It could actually work against you.
It works against you.
Yeah.
But here, that is something that people are looking for, because they're not just hiring the skill set, they're hiring for fit, organizational fit. Can you mingle with everybody else when it comes time for us to go out and hang out and you play the cornhole outside? Can you get down with everybody else and exhibit teamwork? So a lot of times we as a culture are not trained to do that. We're trained to be very timid. We're trained to stay in our lane. And sometimes you can still stay in your lane, but you can still let your personality and your personal brand shine as you're engaging with your colleagues.
All right, you're tuned into the Politics Hour of the OneMic Show. We're actually talking to career coach Laverah Olukune, who is the founder of career mentorship and personal branding consultancy, All You Branding. Now, later in the hour, Laverah will be giving insight to people who arrived in the U.S. recently on how to set their foot professionally when they come to the U.S. So stay tuned for that. Omoshfire, you had something that you wanted to ask Laverah before we continue.
She made mention of something. She said agile, and agile is I'm a techie, so I think it's a. Did you mean it from a tech perspective, or you just meant it in terms of agility?
I meant it in terms of agility, because a lot of times when employers are looking for people to bring into their organization, they're looking for people who could easily adapt. Organizations are changing all the time. I mean, we've been through a crazy 2 years. Employers want to know, if one project dies and I have to, deploy you to another project, how comfortable are you in switching over? Some people get so married into one role, and their attitude then changes when they get shifted to something else. But your agility is really important because it showcases your flexibility. Okay. And so when you're looking at your personal brand and employers are looking to hire, you want to exhibit that in your interview. You want to let people know that, hey, I can go with the flow, I can run where the business needs me, and I will hit the ground running and get the work done.